Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Auto Wreck Fix. So today, since we're still waiting for our bumper to come back from the body shop, I was thinking we can do an oil change. So today we're going to be doing an oil change on the Honda S2000. Before we get started, we'll go over a few of the tools that you're going to need to do the oil change. Quite simple, very basic. You're going to need a 17mm socket wrench to remove the drain plug to empty all your oil from the engine. Another tool you're going to need is, which I highly recommend, is going to be an oil filter remover. This one, like I said before, I highly recommend it. It's super easy to use and it works very, very well. Basically what you do is you take your oil filter, it opens up, it's spring loaded, you place it onto the oil filter like so, you stick on your ratchet, and then while you're removing, it gives pressure and it removes the oil filters when they're jammed. You're going to need your oil. I'm going with Castrol GTX high mileage. My S2000 has a little bit, it's up there in mileage, so we're using a high mileage oil. It's a 10W30. I like Castrol because of the fact that it has its anti-clogging for the valves. But you can use any oil that you like. There's also Mobile One, Blue, Purple. There's a whole bunch of them. You can use the ones that you're more comfortable with. Strongly recommend using a Honda oil filter, and make sure you get the ones that are specifically for the Honda S2000. They're a little bit bigger. What I'll do is I'll leave the part number in the description down below, so you guys can purchase that at your local dealership. If not, I'm sure you can also purchase it on Amazon. Just check it out. All right, so here we are underneath the car. There is your drain plug. On the S2000, we're fortunate that it actually says engine oil, so you can't mix it up too. So we're just gonna remove the drain plug. Just be careful. I've already removed the oil cap on the top so that there'll be less pressure in the system, so it'll come out and flow nicer. Just gotta be careful because S2000s, they like to splatter a little bit. Come on. There you go. Take a rag and we'll just clean it up. And you'll see that on the drain plug, there's always a washer. When there's an aluminum pan, it's usually a aluminum washer. I'll show you, and you always want to replace it when you're replacing your oil. So what we'll do is we'll let this leak out for a bit, and yeah, and afterwards we'll go on top. And for this model, what I usually do is I loosen the oil filter from the top, and again, we just let it leak out. So as you can see, the oil filter for the S2000 is positioned right there. It's higher up. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to loosen it from here from the top and let the oil drain. All right, so we're going to let the oil drain for a little bit. You don't have to wait for too long, especially with the filler cap open. It's going to probably drain as much as it can. A few little tips when you're changing your oil filter. First things first, never pierce the bottom of it and then try to open it that way, because you never know if some of the plastic can fall inside the oil filter and block it. When you have blockage in the oil filter, it can damage your vehicle. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to always open it from the top. And just get yourself a screwdriver or something, or use your key to open it up. Make sure, and always make sure inside that there's no plastic or anything that fell into that hole. Second, on your old oil filter, when you're removing it, make sure this rubber seal is still intact and that it is on the old oil filter. I said in a previous video, you don't want this seal to be stuck on to where the oil filter goes on, because when you put on the second one, In the new oil filter, when you screw it on, you'll have 2 gaskets. And that's a no-no, because what will happen is that it'll create a leak. So make sure that on the old oil filter, you have the gasket on it. Next, on the new oil filter, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add a little bit of oil on that seal so that it creates like a lubrication, so that for the next time it doesn't get stuck to the block of the engine. And thirdly, what you can do also, some people do, and I suggest it as well, you could always add oil into the oil filter. So what you're going to want to do, take your oil, don't fill it up all the way to the top. I would go maybe about 3/4 to half of the oil filter and just fill it up. And while the oil is draining, you'll see the oil level inside the oil filter, they'll be saturated by the filter itself, and it'll go down. You can add a little bit more just before you put it back onto the car. Why do we do this? It helps build oil pressure in the car when at first startup. And as you guys can see already, I filled it up and it's already been sucked up by the filter itself. So I'm going to add a little bit more. What we're going to do is take a little bit of oil, lubricate that seal. You don't want to overfill it either, because on the S2000, the oil filter is just bolted onto the side, and if it's overfilled, what can happen is that you'll have leakage all over and a big huge mess. All right, so let's go and install this filter. Another thing, like I was saying before, have our drain plug, we have a new washer. I highly suggest that every time you do an oil change, you replace that washer, because what happens is that over time, by tightening it, the washer sometimes collapses. On certain models, we also have a copper one that is a collapsible one. Again, those ones for sure, all the time you'd want to replace them. All right, so I hope so far so good. Everything is going great. Just want to take a moment and just like to say thanks to everyone who's been watching my videos. Please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Yeah, so I can create more content like this. So let's continue. So we're going to be refilling. We're going to take a funnel, we're going to go get our oil, and we're going to put the oil in the car. Again, so what I'm using is the Castrol GTX. It's just that it's an oil that I've been using all the years that I've had all my cars. Yeah, you can always choose the one that you like for your specifications and your make and model of your car. Again, you can always see what type of grade of oil you need to put into your car on most oil caps. This one is 10W30. I also know that in the Honda S2000, it takes roughly about 5 quarts of oil. The car is on an angle, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about 4.5, 4.5, and once the bumper arrives, I'll install it and I'll take it off the car jack, the jack stand, sorry, and we'll verify the oil level. Again, always make sure when opening that when you break the seal, that none of the seal particles go inside the oil. So what we're going to do is we're going to want to just pour the oil into the engine nice and slowly. You don't want to make a mess. There we go. Again, I know the car is on an angle, but we'll just check. And there's enough oil in there so that when it does start up, it won't carry any damage or anything like that. Alright guys, so there you have it. We did our oil change on our Honda S2000. Uh, Again, I'll leave all the torque specifications and the quantities of oil that you would be needed to do the oil change in the description down below. And also, if anything, you guys always go to my website, autorigfix.com, and I'll again leave a little list of everything, all the procedures that you need to do an oil change on the Honda S2000. So with that said, again, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hopefully we'll have the bumper back.